What's up, everyone? Welcome to episode 127 of the Idiotic Sports Talk. I'm your host, Liam Gavin, coming to you live from my dining room table. And today, I want to give you all my Week 3 picks around the NFL. Week 3 starts tonight. Thursday night game between the Browns and the Steelers. Last week, I went 8-8 on my picks. Not the best record, but also not the worst. So let's dive into the Thursday night game. Steelers taking on the Browns. I'm going to go with the Browns here. The Steelers are pretty beat up on defense without TJ Watt. They still have a good defense even without him. But I think the Browns are going to have the better defense because of that. Myles Garrett, as you know, also a game wrecker. And I think the Browns are going to get it done with their running game. So give me the Browns to win this one. I'm going to say 20-17. I know the Browns lost a really close game that they should have won to the Jets last week, but I think they bounce back at home and get that win versus the Steelers. On to the Sunday games, we have the Bills taking on the Dolphins. So the Bills are red hot. Everyone's favoring them to win this game, to win the Super Bowl. But I think this is where the Dolphins can make a statement and really show what kind of team that they are. Though they will be home too, so I think they'll have the home field advantage. But I don't think that Buffalo is just going to go down there and blow out Miami like they've done to their two previous opponents. I think the Dolphins are going to punch them in the mouth, and it's going to be a 30-28 game. Give me the Dolphins. Next is the Bengals taking on the Jets. So the Bengals are 0-2. The Jets really should be 0-2, but they're not. They're 1-1. And I don't know. This is a tough game to pick. I'm going to have to go with the Jets here, honestly, because they got a huge win last week, a game that they really should have lost. And I just think that's going to build momentum to their next opponent when they take on the Bengals. And the Bengals, they just seem like they're almost dead. Not really, but it's like their offensive line is just so terrible. Joe Burrow is pretty much dying behind that offensive line, and I see the Jets getting after him. So give me the Jets to win this one, 28-24. Next is the Raiders taking on the Titans. This is a battle between two teams who are 0-2. Major letdowns this season. A lot of people had high hopes for both these teams, but somebody's got to win, and I think I'm going to roll with the Titans here. Sure, the Raiders on paper have a better team, but I think the Titans are going to be able to use Derrick Henry, finally utilize him and get him going. And I expect a big day for him, and I don't see the Raiders defense really being able to stop him since he's pretty much a one-man wrecking crew. So I like the Titans to win this one here by the score of 26-20. Next is the Saints taking on the Panthers. So the Saints lost an embarrassingly fashion to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers last week. The Panthers are winless on the season. The Panthers will be at home. They'll definitely have a home crowd. But I just see the Saints defense making it tough for that offense that's already struggling to really get going. I see the Saints defense getting after Baker Mayfield, shutting down Christian McCaffrey, and locking down the receivers. And as for the Saints offense, I expect them to get back on the same page. I expect Michael Thomas to have a big day, and I'm pretty sure if Alvin Kamara's out there, I expect him to have a good game too. So I'm going to pick the Saints to win this one by the score of 29-21. Next is the Ravens taking on the Patriots. So the Ravens lost a really close game, a game that they were up 21 points by, but they blew the game to the Dolphins, and the Patriots got their first win of the season in a close game against the Steelers. And if the Patriots want to win this game, they're going to have to play the defense like they did against the Steelers, except that the Steelers offense isn't the Ravens offense. The Steelers don't have Lamar Jackson, and Lamar Jackson's been on a tear this season to start. He's been utilizing his weapons very well, such as Rashad Bateman and Mark Andrews. And I don't really see anyone on the Patriots defense, especially in the secondary, being able to cover those weapons. I don't see the linebackers being able to catch Lamar Jackson. So I like the Ravens in this spot. I'm going to take the Ravens to win 33-23. Next is the Lions taking on the Vikings. The Lions have looked pretty good this season. They really have. They got a big win last week. They lost a close game week 1. And the Vikings, they had a big win in week 1, but they were really embarrassing and played poorly week 2 against the Eagles. But this is a game where I see the Vikings bouncing back because the Vikings are at home. And the Vikings at home are a complete different animal than the Vikings on the road. I think that these teams will split the series 1-1 this year. But I'm going to have to give the first game to the Vikings, and I like the Vikings to win in this spot 35-31. Next is the Eagles taking on the Commanders. So the Eagles have looked pretty good this year so far, and the Commanders have not looked good at all. But I'm going to have to actually take the Commanders here. Wentz is playing his old team. So I think this is like a revenge game for Carson Wentz. I wouldn't be surprised if the Commanders lose this game, obviously. I don't expect them to win, but I'm just picking them to win. They're going to have to really slow down Jalen Hurts. That's the main thing. He's passing the ball really well, and he's running the ball phenomenal also. Very well-balanced team that the Eagles have. As much as I can't stand them, I have to give my credit where it's due. And for the Commanders, they just have to play mistake-free football and not give the ball back to Jalen Hurts. And if they could do that, I see them coming up with a win, 29-26 for the Commanders. Next is the Chiefs taking on the Colts. The Chiefs have looked great this year. Patrick Mahomes has not missed a beat at all. Travis Kelce is uncoverable. And the Colts just have been a disappointment so far. They've been a letdown. They haven't played up to par. They got Matt Ryan, and everyone thought that he could be the guy to get the Colts over the edge. But so far, we have not seen that at all. And I don't think they're going to pick it up against the Chiefs here. It could be a trap game. I just don't see the Colts winning this one. So I'm going to go with the Chiefs here. I'm going to take them 31-17. Next is the Texans taking on the Bears. This is a pretty evenly game. This game can go really any way. It's a coin toss. The Texans have an awful offense. So do the Bears. Both defenses are suspect. Not really that good at all. No teams could really put up points. But I do like the Bears here. I do think they have a slightly better quarterback with Justin Fields over Davis Mills. And I feel like they have the way better running game too. So I expect Fields using his legs and David Montgomery out of the backfield to get the Bears to a 23-20 victory. Next is the Jacksonville Jaguars taking on the Los Angeles Chargers. So the Jaguars looked pretty good last week, and the Chargers have looked good this year so far too. And the thing about the Chargers is they might not be without their quarterback, Justin Herbert. But even if Chase Daniel has to come in and play, I don't think that's going to be such a big deal for the Chargers. But then again, if he is playing, the Jaguars definitely have a shot to win. But I definitely just see the Chargers defense being a little bit too much for the Jags offense. And I see the Chargers offense being a little too much for the Jags defense. So I'm going to take the Chargers here. I'm going to say 24-16 if Chase Daniels is playing, and if Justin Herbert's playing, I'm going to say 35-21. Next is the Rams taking on the Cardinals. This is the first meeting between the two. I just feel like the Rams lately have been beating the Cardinals pretty good. The Cardinals did get a big win last week when they looked like they were dead out of the water and going to fall to 0-2. And the Cardinals could win this game. They're at home, and now they have some energy because they completed a big comeback against the Raiders where they were down 20 points. But the Rams, I feel like the Rams are going to, get it together this game. They looked bad. When was it? 2 weeks ago against the Bills, and then they looked good last week against the Falcons, but almost blew the game. But I see it being close. Give me the Rams here, 32-25. Next is the Packers taking on the Bucks. This is going to be a good game. Aaron Rodgers versus Tom Brady. Both teams do not have their wide receivers. They don't have a good receiving core. The Bucks are going to be missing Mike Evans, which is a big target for Brady, which is good news for the Green Bay Packers. Lately, ever since Tom Brady has gotten into the NFC for the Bucks, he's owned the Green Bay Packers pretty much. I believe he's 2-0 or 3-0 against them. And I see that trend continuing. I do see it being a close game. But I do like the Buccaneers in this spot, 34-28. Give me the Bucks. Next is the Falcons taking on the Seahawks. So the Falcons are 0-2, looking for their first win of the season against the 1-1 Seahawks. And I think this is the game that they win. I think the Falcons can get it together because the two teams that they faced, they barely lost. They lost by a few points, and they're just fight. They're not Super Bowl contenders, they're not playoff contenders, but they contend in each and every game, and I see them getting their first win against the Seahawks team that doesn't really have an identity. So I do like the Falcons in this spot by the score of, I'm going to go 23-17. Next is the Niners taking on the Broncos. So Russell Wilson's on the Broncos, and he has a history of owning the 49ers, and this was when he was on the Seattle Seahawks. Now he's on a different franchise with the Broncos, and the Broncos offense has not looked good at all. Meanwhile, the Niners defense has looked pretty good this season. And now the Niners have Jimmy G back, who is a veteran. He's not the best QB in the league, but he could definitely win games. And I think he's going to go out there and win this game for the 49ers. So I do like the Niners here, 27-16. The final game is the Monday night game between the Dallas Cowboys and the New York Giants. So the Cowboys are going to be without Dak again, but they have Cooper Rush, who stepped up last week and delivered them a win. And I think he's going to do it again, especially against the Giants. The Giants are 2-0. They haven't played the best football in those games. It hasn't looked like it. But, I got to tip my hats to them. They're 2-0 for a reason. They have good coaching, and they have a good running back, too, with Saquon Barkley. And I feel like if the Cowboys can just shut down Saquon Barkley and hit Daniel Jones a few times, sack him, cause a couple turnovers, they have a great chance to win this game, especially if the Dallas offense doesn't turn over the ball either. So I'm going to go Cowboys to win this one by the score of 27-23. So my lock for the week is the Chiefs over the Colts, and my upset is the Dolphins over the Bills. That's it for my week 3 picks. Let me know what games you guys agree or disagree with me on. And remember to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Follow me on my Instagram. Do what you can to share, like, and promote my pages. Thank you all. Have a great day.